What is power? What is that inner power within us as witches, as light workers, as all the magical aspects a person can be? How do we gain that power? Does it just come to us? Or is it something we have to work for? Is it something we have to learn? That it's not something that we're just privileged in? Well, in this video, I'm going to talk about how, in my personal practice, I gained so-called power. And that power comes from, in my aspect, through hard work and exercises. So if you're interested in learning how I did it and how you can do it, keep watching. Hi guys, welcome, and to those new subscribers, I welcome you to the channel and thank you very much for that said subscription. And for those that are coming back week in, week out, I really do appreciate you too, guys. So let's get on with the video. I learnt through teaching myself years ago. Through learning different exercises, I started the journey, and I call it a journey because if you don't know anything, you start from the beginning, and not everybody has that place they can go to learn from. And when I started, there were many books, but it was difficult to find a group or somewhere that I could be part of. So I wanted to learn, and so I made a venture, a way of learning. So I found out where there were workshops, I found out where there were brilliant books that were being hidden at the back of the shops up in London, and some very occult type things. Now I say things because different practitioners do things in different ways, and I took from many different avenues before I got involved in groups, because I wanted to get a basis of what I was about and how I could bring it forth. In my family, we did have cunning women, we did have very, very spiritual ladies. And of course, in this day and age, they may well have been labelled as witches, as practitioners, light workers. But of course, back in them days, it was all hush, hush and under the carpet. A person might go to church on a Sunday but be doing spells during the week. Anything to keep that, politeness and respectability, because witchcraft was seen as very bad because of what the church told people. But you did have your practitioners even back then, and they didn't have that get to a shop and buy books, or nowadays the computer. So where did they get their power from? Well, this is what I wanted to know, and this is why I started at the beginning. So of course I looked at books, and of course I looked at all the different things that you would think about doing. But I then thought about some of the little things that I knew that some of the older ladies, like my nan's age, used to do. Little things, like when they were boiling water, sprinkling things in the water, maybe some herbs, or as they did it, they would say words. They would focus their gaze upon something and mutter something in their mind, coming out in their voice. And I used to wonder when I was little, what are they doing? And so I thought I would give it a go. And I realised that everything they did, they focused their sight on. They would look at it with such intent. And I realised that there was a link that when you look at something and you visualize something, that you are using something in your mind that other people don't use. And that was where I started. Now, I would like to show you some of the exercises that I did that really helped me. And some of them are so easy, guys, but they take time. And one of the things that I used to do, and you can do this too, is get a focal point. Now this is number 1, exercise number 1. Now find something that you like the look of. It could be a statue like what I've got on my altar. It could be a point on the wall, something like this up here. Or it could be a picture. You know, you could take a picture. Now I have a picture here. You could take a picture and focus on one point, like the face, or that area, or anywhere. The reason I say this is because it's got to be of interest. You've got to be interested in it, because you'll get bored otherwise. So you get your focal point. You see this? It's a swan. Okay, I'll put it here. Okay guys, right. Now you can see that, can't you? Yeah, you can see the swan. Now, what I would do, and this is how I used to do it, is you sit and you get yourself relaxed. You get yourself in that zone out type of feeling. So for those of you that know what you're doing, you could open your chakras, or you could just relax yourself and in the meditation mode, or the way you feel when you are zoning out. At the same time, I want you to clear your mind and stare at the swan. Now, by staring at the swan, automatically your eyes will start to blur, or that you will feel like you are staring. And so while you are staring, your focus goes out, but you can still see the object, but everything around it seems to zone out. Now at that point, people tend to blink and it stops it. What your aim is to do it regularly till you can unfocus your eyes and keep your mind set on the object without blinking. And I know it sounds really difficult, but believe me, with practice, it's not that you're not blinking, because you will blink. It is the fact that you're still able to hold it and you're still able to zone it out, if that makes sense. So how you do it is you relax, you focus, and when you're zoning out and you can see it but everything else seems to have gone, that's when you start to feel. Now you will start to feel a build up within, an energy, because everything has an energy. The reason I'm telling you this is because one of the next exercises is quite good fun, and with practice you will see outcomes that will amaze you. And it is about, again, focus of your eyes. Now for those of you like me that have sight problems, it doesn't matter, because you are actually focusing your third eye. Even though you're using your eyes, you're also using your pineal gland, you're using your third eye, and that is what is focusing, that is what is zoning out. And so with the swan, with practice, you will get to the point where you know you've got it in your clutches, that you could almost move it, you could almost lift it, you could almost touch it with your mind. That's what you're aiming for. Some people put a dot on the wall and they zone in on that, but really you can do it with anything that takes your focus that you want to look at. So once you have got to the stage where you can do that, you're going to feel powerful. It's going to make you feel in control, and you're going to start to want to experiment with it. So, exercise number 2, using this ability to aid yourself. Have you ever been out before and you've wanted to practice to see if you can sway things that's going on? A good example, and quite a funny one for me, is the fact that I did this with an egg. I know it sounds funny. My poor husband has a problem now with cracking eggs into a saucepan or a frying pan. They break every time. The egg yolk will break, and it is because when I first started, I wanted to practice, and so every time he went to crack an egg, I used to think and focus on an egg yolk breaking, and every time it would do that. The trouble is, I can't stop it now. You've got to laugh, but I have to walk out the room when he's about to cook an egg because I know it's going to break, and I can't stop it happening. And that is the problem. You have to be very balanced in the sort of things you want to do with it. It's a bit like when you're using, I forget what they're called, dowsing rods. When you're going near an energy, they will part. When you want to know something, it will move to wherever it's going to go. And after a while, you get very powerful with it. It's like you're the one doing it, whereas it's not. It's the magnetic part of it. But it's the same with your third eye. It's the same with the pineal gland. It's the same with your focus. With that intent, with that energy, you can move things. You can change things. And that's what the old girls were doing. They were mustering up that focus and putting their intent strongly into things and changing the situations. Doing that over a drink and giving it to someone, that was doing something, that was changing something. Now, when you want to focus on changing something, I've got to tell you this, negative energy is so powerful and easier to do, so be aware of that. So when you are used to doing that, be very careful, because you will look at someone if they've upset you and think something and focus it, and they will get the outcome. So you have to be very careful. But I know that there is a way of, for example, somebody upsets you in a car, they've cut you up or they've done something. You can look at them through your window into their glass and focus onto their head, and you can, I know I've done it myself, put ice cubes, imagine ice cubes going down their back, or a little hot ball touching the back of their neck, and they will feel it because you are good at what you're doing. But it's not, I would not tell people to do that, but it is a possibility. Crowley, he was not a witch, he was an occultist, and a very powerful occultist, and he could actually move people to do things that they didn't know wasn't their will. And he actually got people filming him doing this, and somewhere on YouTube they actually have a film of him doing one of these things. You probably would be able to get it up. I saw it once, but he's walking with a reporter, and the reporter is asking him, so what can you show me what you can do? And he said, watch this. There was a man with a briefcase walking ahead of him. It just come out of a building, and he's walking along the road. And so he said, now watch. And as he walked, he got in the same step as the man in front, like he was imitating him. And then he went down on one knee. And all of a sudden, the man went down on one knee like he tripped, but he went down exactly the same, total replica. And as he got up, so did the man. And he said, that is some of my power. In them days, you can imagine, that freaked a lot of people out. They thought it was that the man was in on it, but it turned out he wasn't. And it also turned out that power is something attainable. It's an energy. Power is energy. And that's why we have electricity and we have gas and all that, because it's an energy. Fire is an energy. Air is an energy. Earth is an energy. And water is also an energy. And so witches often say that they're taking the power and bringing it together via the elements. It's also built within us, our focus, our intent. And this is what I wanted to explain to you all today. I wanted to go through some of the basics to help people that are just starting out. So we have that exercise you can do. There's another exercise you can do, and that can be with crystals. So, for example, I have a lovely crystal here, lapis lazuli, and I love this crystal. You can see how lovely it is. It's rough one side and it's smooth the other side, and I wanted it that way on purpose because I like to hold it here upon my third eye. Now, in Seda, the practice that I do, it's all about inner stuff. It's all about journeying and connecting with things powerfully, is using the energy also of things like crystals, and your intent will go into your crystal. Now, people will put these things on window ledges. They will get them cleansed to have a purpose. But the Seda goes one step further. The Seda becomes the stone. The Seda goes into the stone. The Seda is the stone. We connect and we become. And that is something also we have to learn to do. And that is our intent needs to learn how to shapeshift. Shapeshifting isn't actually you seeing a person change. Shapeshifting is a mental thing, and it is a way of connecting with something either living or non-animate. So you can take a crystal, you can put your intent into it, and you can spiral yourself into it and to become it. So to do that, you need to know what it feels like. So you hold the crystal in your hand, you put it on your body, you feel whether it's warm or cold, hard, sharp, smooth, how it feels to you emotionally. And you sit there holding it and imagining what that must feel like. And you make that journey into it. So of course you would need to know how to journey, and so this is the exercise that will help you. Put the object where you can see it, just like we did with the swan, and so I will put it here. I don't know if you can see that there. And you need to get a chair or a stool or something and sit right near it, and you need to stare at it, but you also need to know and feel you. You have to sit there relaxing, but also focused on what you look like, how you feel, your energy, which takes some doing, but you can do it, guys. Then I want you to visualize yourself becoming smaller, becoming a lot smaller. In fact, being small enough to be the size of the stone that you are looking at, the crystal that you are looking at. And when you get to that point, which might take you a few times, you then stand up and walk towards it. And this is the point that is the difficult bit. As you go towards the crystal, you have to visualize it opening up to encompass you. All things are possible in magic. So as you get near it, it will open up and you will walk into it and it will encompass you. You will then discover the power of the crystal that is within it. It will be you, but also itself. And you are within it, and it is around you, but it's also within you. You will feel its energies, you will feel its power, but it will also know you're there. And that merging together will bond you, but it will also give you its power. When you're ready, after sitting with it for a while, you release it yourself. Don't get panic stricken, because a lot of people do. You're not stuck there. It's within your power to retrace your steps. So you push yourself away from the crystal and it will open up. By pushing with your hands, it's saying to the crystal, finish. And so it will open up and you will step away, and you will feel yourself as you are getting bigger and bigger. You then find yourself back where you was. Now these exercises are very important if you want to learn how to use that intent and really go for it, to get that power, to know how to use it. So yes, you can use it to make people do things that they don't know that you're making them do, which isn't really a good thing. It might be good if there's an accident about to happen, then you can stop it happening and things like that. But obviously you don't want to be using it to upset somebody. And so we have to learn how to control it. But to do things like working with the crystals, working with your runes, and it's another way that you can become part of your runes and enter into their worlds, because each rune is a world, it is a doorway, it is another place. So you can have fun with that, learning all about their energies and how it can affect you. So these things are attainable, but you have to put the work in. Also, to keep a diary about it. Everything you achieve, write it down. Write down what it is that you're perceiving and how it makes you feel and what you think you can use it for. There is also another one that we like to use, which I used in the coven, and that is to bring a point within you to a large point. So we used to use an equal armed cross, golden. You see that as a pinprick within, just above your solar plexus, and you, with every breath, start to enlarge it, letting it grow and grow and grow till it becomes bigger than you. And at that point you can step away from it, turn around and look at it and assess it and see what it feels like, what it actually looks like. Is it three-dimensional, or is it four-dimensional? Is it singular dimensional? Is it gold, or does it have flecks in it? Is it soft or strong? And you learn about this, because that is your energy, you're within, and you are training it to be there, to be strong, but also to be your protector. So these are the things that you can do with this focus. And you know, it is true, when people have died that have been practitioners that have used the pineal gland, their pineal gland is a lot bigger than other people's that haven't used them, because it's like a muscle, and the more you use it, the bigger it becomes and the more powerful you become. It doesn't just stem from there, but it is the focal point, it is the third eye. So guys, that's just something I wanted to help you to understand today. So let's focus on what we got at the moment. I want to go back to a lot of basics with people so that they can grasp a lot of the beginning things that will help them to make their choice on what path they want to be on. Hope you enjoyed today. Keep doing the exercises. Let me know how you get on. Put it down below, because I love to know how people get on with these things. And keep practicing. Don't give up. it's one of those things that takes time, but once you grasp it and once you can do it, becomes very powerful and will grow. So it's something to really work towards. So I hope you're all well, and I will be back really soon with another video. So wherever you are, whatever time of day, night or evening it may be, I wish you the best ever. House of the Land.